All right, next, oy vey, Sharon
I feel like.
Hawkins.
Can we just move on from her? Because I feel like
We
honestly,
can keep
because
it brief.
keep it short and brief. Because the reason I say this is because well, one, we don't know how long we're for, and two, well, I want to be sure we be able to get on to the other subject.
Yeah, we will. Don't worry. It's very brief, honestly. Virgil's older sister works as a part-time counselor. She dates Rubber Band Man, and she does occasionally give good advice to Virgil. Occasionally.
Virgil, believe it or not, I am worried about you. You're always tired. You're out late at night.
Like, mainly because, the sibling rivalry BS. Like, honestly, there's not much I can say about Sharon. I mean, she is pretty high strung at times, but I mean, overall, she's not the worst sibling to have in the world.
No,
Just,
there are
Yeah.
worse. There are worse ones.
she's
There are
just a
worse for
terrible
sure.
cook.
Yeah! my stomach!
At least according to Virgil.
That's the pancake comment I made earlier.
Right.
I mean, I think her cooking is as bad as the Supreme Kai of Time's cooking.
Let's move on now.
Yes,
please.
let's. Daisy Watkins. Static's love interest in the comic and cartoons, former student of Vanmore. She basically real hero worships Static. She has no idea that Static is Virgil, by the way. And she's also
For
a gifted.
some reason.
To be fair, Virgil apparently somehow kept it secret from her at least. And was once accidentally put in a temporary coma thanks to Static showing off.
Hey, Puff got that girl hurt. Bad. Not exactly the way I heard it. Instead of handling business, you were showing off again. That's how she got hurt. You're as much to blame as Puff.
Hence why Zammy mentioned earlier about, Static basically Virgil going on a date and accidentally getting Daisy, hospitalized.
Yeah.
Oops.
Kind of got out of hand there, bro. Instead of showing off, you could have, done something else.
Honestly, all I have to say about Daisy, like, I have nothing against her. Like, she at least tries to keep Virgil grounded, to her credit. She has tried to keep him grounded. It's just not that simple. And as Justin pointed out, love lives and hero business do not always mix well.
Honestly, not much else to say because there's not much else to work with her, given how she's just that one schoolgirl who has a thing for Static and all.
Yeah, much like her best friend, apparently.
Me love you long time?
No.
Happy ending?
No, please no. God, no.
I agree with Justin there.
Zammy, your thoughts?
She's a nice girl. She's a nice girl.
I gotta ask, did they ever increase the relationship in the comics, or did they?
I believe they did. They were very close. I don't know if they got married or anything like that, but they were very close at one point.
Well, no. I don't mean like married, but did they get together in a relationship?
Yeah, they did in the comics. It was more expanded on the comics because it goes beyond what the cutoff point for the cartoon was. So she actually had a bigger role in that. Yep. Okay, and then there's her best friend Frida. Just gonna keep it brief again. Former crush of Virgil's. Basically, is a school news reporter. In the comics, however, here's where it gets a little different. She was Virgil's best friend, not Richie. And she also dated him for a short while, too. And then this character was only in literally the first episode. Supposedly he's dead. Okay, basically in the cartoon they don't explain what happened to him, like he just went to jail, whatever. But basically, a guy named Wade, big dudes, always protected Virgil from hot streak. This was before, superpowers. Recruited Virgil more as a means to protect him from Aesop's constant bullying.
I like you, Virgil. You're funny, and you're smart. But keeping Francis off your butt takes too much of my time. One day, he's gonna catch you out there and I won't be around. Sick dude like him, who knows what he'll do then?
In the comic books, however, he was murdered after a drug deal that went bad. I wish I was joking about that, but I'm not.
All the good ones have to fucking die.
Well, I wouldn't know if I'd call him the best guy in the world, but he did try to look out for Virgil, though, because they were old friends.
Let's move on.
The Nightbreed. Basically, metahumans who cannot survive under light. 4 known members are Tech, Fade, Nightingale, and Brickhouse. Who, let's see, Tech was basically their genius. Fade phases through walls. Nightingale uses dark matter, and Brick House was basically, well, the name says plenty, and as Zammy and Crossy pointed out, she looks like basically Garnet from Steve Universe. But yeah, they basically put these were 4 teenage you can't really call them villains, more like just lost souls, because they worked with Ebon because he promised them safety from their curse, so to speak. So to make a long story short, the Nightbreed basically, like I said, they basically were forced to live sort of like vampires. They can't survive under intense sunlight or any intense light at all, really. And because of this, they are forced to live underground. They don't trust people on the surface anymore because of how they're treated either. So you can't blame them on that one. That's why you think they ended up working for Ebon.
No.
Yeah. Just a
No.
pair of lost souls.
Yeah.
Okay, I only have one other person to expand on, and that would be Time Zone. Only because of the role she played in Flashback. She was literally hunted down by Ebon due to her powers because she could control time. And Ebon wants to use her to basically help to dodge the police. What a douche. This is the same person who helped Static get the opportunity to talk to his mom one last time in the past. But due to the potential dangers of her own powers, she literally went back in time to prevent herself from gaining her powers in the first place. So yeah, she literally decided to say, fuck this, went back in time, stole her own bike so she'd never go down near the docks where she got her powers. That's the long and short of it with Time Zone.
I feel like we should probably talk about. Well, I'm gonna give you guys a good option or two, of you. Like we could easily talk about our favorite episodes, or probably an episode that's very impactful.
Yeah, I have a few episodes like I personally consider, to be very impacting. Basically,
Yeah,
they're
I'm
scattered,
pretty sure we're all
but
I'm pretty sure we're all thinking of the same one.
yeah, one of them is definitely Sons of the Fathers. The episode where, Virgil had to deal with, Richie's dad being a kind of a racist.
And Flashback.
That too. Those are some very hard hitting episodes.
Permafrost was a hard hitting episode.
Yep.
Was Flashback the one with Static's mom and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
those hit hard, let's be honest.
Honestly, this episode didn't hit hard, but the ending somewhat did. It was basically the last episode of not the series, but the near the end of the episode where Alvis Senior was able to get back together with his son at the end.
Yeah, that would be No Man's an Island, where basically there was a lot of development for Hot Streak, but like I said, it eventually gets thrown out the window in a later episode. Because the one time Hot Streak does the right thing, and you think maybe there's hope for him after all. A few episodes later. But I'll give him this much. He did help Virgil, help revive Alva's son. And the one thing that actually struck me odd for Hot Streak even was how he basically said, well, when Static said it's called doing the right thing, where Hot Streak literally says you should try it sometime. Him of all people saying that threw me for a loop. There were a lot of good episodes. Let's be honest.
Impacting wise, yeah. Like, do you two have anything you want to say?
I really like the Permafrost one.
Yeah, I like the Permafrost one and the last shebang episode.
I also like the one where what Harley Quinn and was it Poison Ivy were trying to get this girl to do bad stuff for them just so she could get the antidote to turn back to normal.
That also expands on another thing that they weren't discussing outright, but they were pretty much hinting at heavily in that episode. Be careful who you meet on the internet.
Yeah. You could say that the same thing about meeting people on Craigslist.
True.
Oh, God.
Another episode that stuck out big time to me, the Sons of the Fathers episode I mentioned earlier, because racism was a big thing.
It's got even more worse today.
Yeah, that and the Permafrost episode. The Permafrost episode, and well, I gotta say this one as well. Where the rubber meets the road, which was where Rubber Bandman had to deal with his learning disability. Those really stuck out, but the one that stuck out even more so to an extent was literally the episode Jimmy, where this kid's getting bullied and he brings a gun to school. That was very visceral. And this was toned down from the comics, guys.
And not to mention hearing the voice of Billy going through that. Oh no.
All right, so what's next on our agenda? Oh, glorious leader.
Well, we could talk about favorite characters.
Okay, I'll let y'all go first because I'm pretty sure y'all know what mine are gonna be easily.
Virgil, Shebang, and Time Zone.
Can't blame you. All of them good
Alright.
characters in their own right.
Shebang, Static, Richie, Permafrost, that's pretty much it.
Justin.
How about you name yours while I think about it real quick?
Okay, fair enough. This was a hard call for me because there were a lot of good characters in Static, like overall. So I had to narrow it down to just 4 on this one. Virgil is clearly my favorite, but believe it or not, he's actually second to my most favorite character. My most favorite one would have to actually be Robert Hawkins, his dad. He, like I said before, he is one of the best fiction, like cartoon dads out there. Fight me, because he legit knows how it is. He's been there, he's done that, and he imparts the words of wisdom to his kids and whoever else is willing to listen. And for that, he's also a very good parent, despite losing his wife all those years ago. He's still able to keep moving forward. And what really touched home, like what made him an overall favorite, like in my eyes, was literally the episode when he figures out Virgil is Static.
Wasn't hard to figure out. Why else kidnap me to get to Static? And maybe in the back of my mind, I've always known.
Oh, Pops, I never meant to put you in danger, I swear.
And the thing is, he actually takes it a lot better than people would assume. He figured he's on some level realized it, but wasn't sure how to confront it. So the suspicion was already there. And finally, the other 2 characters, Rubber Bandman, because of his redemption. Like, let's be honest, he redeemed himself over time. And the last one, in all honesty, this was a toss-up because they're both good characters in their own right. This was a toss-up between, honestly, Permafrost and Shebang because they both had really good development, but really short-lived. So it's hard to say who I'd pick, overall as favorites, but they're right. Those are my favorites overall. I have nothing against Gear. It's just that the other characters stand out a little bit more development-wise in my book.
So favorite character-wise, Virgil, his dad is definitely on there. I do like his dad because it was a very respectable thing. Rubber Band Man's definitely a favorable and likable character on this list and everything. He's definitely redeemable in quality. I have to say Permafrost because she's really impactful of a character-wise.
Yeah, just extremely short-lived. I mean, like I said, it was hard to pick. It was a really hard call to make. Like, Gear was also up for consideration too. But that's what my list is, and that's what I'm gonna have to stick to because, like I said, I've got nothing against Gear. He is a phenomenal character in his own right. It's just these other characters had a big impact, especially Robert Hawkins. Like, he had possibly the biggest impact in the whole series, and he's not even a superhero. That's the hilarious part. Anything else before we continue?
Not really. I think we could probably almost wrap this up here and talk about our final thoughts and everything like that.
Well, we also got the characters we don't care for. I have a strong feeling I know at least a couple of characters none of us like.
Specs and Trapper?
Ew.
Yeah.
Same.
And the reason I don't really feel like we should even talk about the subject is I'm pretty sure we all have a couple similar ones we all hate already, so it doesn't even really matter.
I have 3 I don't care for, like, outright, besides Specs and Trapper. Ebon, because he's an asshole.
Well, duh, that's an obvious one for all of us here.
Yeah, but also Puff and Ox, because they're just so goddamn forgettable.
Ox, I can handle. Puff, I hate.
Why? It's because you blow smoke in your face. Like
I just don't like. I
Her
just
bad
don't find her
breath.
interest. I just don't find her interesting, and she's just kind of annoying.
I don't
It's a
blame
wave
you.
spray to the rescue.
I figured you would have said Madeline, but I don't blame you with
No,
Puff
I
and
hate.
Ox.
I still hate Madeline, but Puff is just as annoying as well. She's not as bad as Madeline, but
Yeah, I can't fault you on that. Zammy, any characters you basically despise?
aside from
The
Hot
fucking
Streak,
twins.
Oh, Specs and Trapper.
Yeah, I was about to say anyone aside from Hot Streak.
It's a well-known fact you hate Zam hates Hot Streak at this point. Like any others besides the twin jackasses.
Hey, Bon, he needs to get off of this fucking lazy ass and do something instead of commanding his little fucking ants to do shit. Get your ass up and fucking do something.
I think that covers like characters we don't care for. I think we're all in agreement here. Like I only have one other to add, and that's literally that one jackass Aaron I mentioned earlier, the one who basically used his little brother to commit crimes. He can go fuck himself. Y'all will see what I mean if you watch the series.
Him too. Fuck him.
Anyways, as Justin was saying, final thoughts. Like anything else of mention?
But yeah, I
series-
already know most characters that I hate, especially we discussed in this review. But there's not much to work off of characters I hate. If anything, I can't really hate a lot of villains because since they were just one time and they were just mild annoyances. Like the only other character I would hate is that one kid who uses his little brother for power and went to get money and shit from the bank.
Yeah, like a lot of villains, so to speak, were not really villains. They were more lost souls who literally had nowhere else to go or nothing else they could do. Honestly, I like how this series was not afraid to push the envelope on certain topics that kids needed to know about growing up. Like all the shit I mentioned earlier, racism, gang violence, bullying, school shootings, like bad parenting, family relationships in general. Like this series touched on all of that and then some, and they did it fucking beautifully, in my honest opinion. Not to mention all the redemption. When the redemption is done, it's actually done well. I mean, I don't think any of us can deny that.
Like characters. Sir, here's the thing: if you're gonna have me hate a character, you gotta give me a good reason to. Ebon, Spectre Trapper, and Melanie gave me good reasons too. You know what I mean?
And go on.
One-time villains aren't gonna cut it, especially if they're gonna appear. If they're reoccurring and they're gonna give me reasons to hate them, like Spectre Trapper with their constant annoyances and willingly kidnap their former boss's son and blow him up. Yeah. You got my hate list. You got my shit list.
Yeah, Specs and Trapper are just assholes, but like I said, like the way I see it with this series, like I said, when the characters are redeemed, they do it right. I'm not entirely sure what they're doing, like how they're doing it, but they do it right.
I agree with you.
Anything else you want to add to that?
Nope.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right.
Like I said in the beginning, this even if it's old, it's still extremely relevant with what we deal with on a daily basis today, with racism and all of that other stuff. Not to mention the shooting stuff. It's still occurring, and it's really surprising. So it's a good watch. It's a nice series. If you're willing to dedicate time to it, then highly recommend. It's really nice.
Like the series kind of holds, like the series pretty much holds up to, and kind of deserves not like a series renew because like the season 4 finale, no, but like a rerun at least, just to see what fans were missing.
Which they finally got recently. I mean, thank God, but still. Another thing I have to say about this series, in all honesty, like if you like basically expect to have some major field trips throughout certain episodes that we've mentioned already. And don't be surprised if you see them pushing certain topics that people today may not be too comfortable talking about. Don't be afraid to, still stick by it and still keep going through. You'd be surprised what you'll find. I mean, yeah, it's 52 episodes. They were going to give it a 5th season, but then Warner Brothers, in their infinite wisdom, canceled it because of honestly the most ridiculous reason I've ever heard of. Because their toys did not sell. That's really all I have to say on that matter, to be honest. But Glenn McDuffie, God rest his soul, he did good when he made the series.
Anyone got some final thoughts to share before we wrap it up?
Good show, aged like fine wine.
Perfect good show, like a French kiss. A chef kiss.
Honestly, this series, like, I've enjoyed it when I first watched as a kid. And even looking at it differently and now as an adult, I still enjoy watching this series. Plain and simple. I don't think that's changing anytime soon. If nothing else, this series does deserve a continuation. Notice I said continuation, not a reboot. It deserves continuation to wrap some things up that were left open ended. That's just how I feel.
The show age had a good run and stuff. I'm just sad. It was just kind of sad. It just didn't end in the way it should have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there was a lot of potential, especially with that little subplot of Virgil's dad. He was finally in the know. And he basically had opportunities to find out before then. But it's good he was in the know. It kind of sucks that we don't get to see more of that, expand, if nothing else.
Wait, how did you...
I just scraped some gunk off the charger contacts. See?
Thanks, son. Have a good day today.
I think with that, we could wrap Static Shock to a close here.
All right, so what's the one question we always ask at the end of these reviews, good sir?
As leader, as always, I have to ask at the end of the show, does this show still hold up today after watching it all? Honestly, yeah. The episode's still impactful. It's got some good laughs, got some good material. It makes me wish it was more, but it just kind of just like stop, you know what I mean?
Yep.
At least it didn't go bad like how Teen Titans ended.
Yeah. But yeah, this series definitely holds up very well, even though it aired way back in 2000. It's been 20 years. It still holds up, so they did something right.
Yeah, they can't get rid of us that easily.
Who wants to give their score first?
10.
All right.
For once, I have to agree because usually I'm not like, I'm not even being biased on this. This series definitely deserves a 10. Because even with the, lack of content in some areas, it's still very good. It still has a huge impact. So it definitely deserves a 10 out of 10 easily.
10 out of 10.
I'm sorry to say I have to give it an 8 out of 10.
That's fair.
It's not like it's not like I don't like it or nothing at all. It's just, here's the thing. There's so many unanswered questions to work with, and not only that, like you said, more content that could have been pushed out, and sad to say it was ended the wrong way. Like, I'm not saying I didn't like the ending of Static Shock, not at all. I personally loved it. But I felt like there could have been more, or there's some stuff that could have happened, or more questions that needed to be answered, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not a perfect show. There was even some episodes that were just not necessarily needed, or just there, just to fill time slots, you know?
I hear you.
Like, I do enjoy the show very much, but I don't think it deserves a perfect score, and some people may not agree with me, but that's my opinion. I love the Static. I grew up with it. I've seen all of it. I loved it still, but I would give it an 8 or a 9. I just can't give it a full 10 because here's the thing.
Yeah, because certain parts missing and whatnot.
Yes, and there's a lot more to work with. If you asked me if this when I was younger, I would have said it was a 10 out of 10, but seeing how I'm growing up and my tastes have changed and I have to be more observant with these shows, especially reviewing it wise, I have to be an honest and fair, accurate score. I know you guys would say 10 out of 10, and some of you may judge me for it. I know Crossy probably is, but I have to have my reasons.
I know. And here's the thing. When I weighed my score, I weighted knowing all of this. That, for better or worse, Dwayne McDuffie at least left a huge legacy behind for us to pick up on.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. That's why I didn't give it way lower score, and that's why I say it's an 8 or a 9. I just wish there was more to work.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad it ended in a good way, you know?
Yeah, they did the best they could considering they got canceled at pretty much a very abrupt time. So they didn't even have time to work on NFL Season 5. Had they not been canceled, I imagine it would have gotten a much better wrap-up. I mean, like I said, I'm not even using any bias about this show to give it a 10. I'm literally weighing in everything, and that's the score that I've come up with. If it had to be any lower, I would give it a 9.5. But my score is still more or less staying at 9.5 to a 10 out of 10. That's my honest opinion. I mean, the most important thing is that it leaves an impact.
But I think that's a good final closing statement. All right, guys. Well, if that's the case, we're going to call this a Retro Warrior episode here. Sorry this took so long, but like we said, busy things we're not going to mention.
Not to mention...
But we're getting...
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. like I said, we're not going to mention why we've been so busy, but there's a few things like life and drama, but we're not going to get into it or talk about it because personal reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But we are getting back into track and things, so we'll most likely try to get into routine where we even actually have the next recording set up and ready, prepared for when we're about to talk about it. You'll find out when that is.
Well, I'm glad we're back. We're back in this. This is your favorite Crossy, and if you guys enjoyed the episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and share with your friends. We appreciate that.
Okay, this is your sarcastic researcher and chaotic artist, Hazard of Chaos. Basically signing off, and don't be afraid to subscribe to our channels, share this video around, and all that good stuff. Just don't be and again, please develop your own opinions. Don't just go off of ours. I will be very annoyed if y'all come at me with, oh, but you said this, so it has to be true. I don't want to hear that shit. Say it like it is, or don't talk to me at all.
Again, this is entirely out of our own, out of the information that we took ourselves and how we interpret it. It doesn't have to be the exact same. So you develop your own thoughts and opinions, and we have our own.
I would like to have an intelligent conversation, not me basically having to deal with a parrot.
This is the retro, quote-unquote, retro goddess, Lady Z, signing out. All right, see you guys next time.
And this is your Retro Warrior leader of the group and stuff, and we will see you all next time for when we do it next time on Retro Warriors. Take care, everybody.
Later,
bye-bye.
Bye.
Magoozy's most shocking action hero is fired up twice every single night.
I wonder if they have anger management summer school.
Back-to-back episodes of Static Shock every day at 5:30 and 6.
I heard that.
On Magoozy.
Starting next week.
Begin.
It's new cards and new adventures. It's new episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Starting next week, Monday through Thursday at 9:30 on Cartoon Network.
For the next time on Retro Warriors.
Well, why don't we check it out? Next time, you'd better watch or else I'll really cause some trouble.